Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm back with another episode for Let's Code series. We are going to learn about generators. So let's get started. Right. So I'm going to create a new file first here. I will just call it Python generators.py. Right. So this is a generator file, and I will say /usr slash bin slash Python 3. Right. Now this is how I'm going to just work on this part, right? So first thing first, what are generators basically? So if we look at it, the generators, it's actually function. We call them generator functions. So those will allow you to declare a function that can behave like an iterator, right? Iterator means it will loop through over and over again through one thing, right? So that's how generator actually works, or looks at, or generator function actually works on. So this is what generators is all about. Now we will see how to actually implement a proper generator. So first we will see a simple code, how the iteration works basically. So to do that, I will just do something here. I will say def, and then I will say data, and then I will say n is the object that I'm passing, and then I will say hit this something like this num. I'm saying num, and then another thing is nums, which I'm assigning right away. So nums will be set to 0 initially, and then we have nums as a list, right? And then I will say while num is less than n, right? Whatever the n value you provide, what I want to do is I want to say nums dot append, and I want to append the num, right? And along with that, what I want to say num plus a sorry plus equals to 1. Does that make sense, right? And then I will say return num. Better, right? Now what I want to say, I will say final underscore data equals to sum, and then data, then we will say num. Okay, so the num not num actually number we will put here, so 100,000 should do, I guess. And then I will say I will ask the program to actually print what the value goes in nums. So this is my nums, or I will just say final underscore data maybe. This should work. And then when I say python 3 and python generators.py, it will give me this value, this whole random value. It's coming from the number that I have assigned here, right? So this is about the basically how iterator works. Now I will just remove this particular data, and we will see how to actually write a proper generator. So we will use something called a iter. It's like iter function. It's pre-built thing. So let's do it. So if I say I will define a class first, right? Class, and I will say uh, my data, and then I will pass an object here, right? So object will come to it when as you go. So def underscore init, I will first put an init method, and we will say self. First I will define self.n is equals to n, right? And I think I'm pretty sure that we have to have nums here also, because nums is not there at all. And then we will say self dot nums equals to 0, right? So now what I will say, I will define something like iter underscore and then I will say self, right? And now there's one gotcha that you have to keep in mind. So now in order so if I will do something like self, and it should work, right? So I will say return. Here I will return something, something from a different class that I would use. So I will say my final, this is not yet created, so we'll create like my final data, and then self dot n and self dot nums. So final data is not yet defined, it's already giving the error. So I will say class my final data, and then I will say it's also an object, right? And so now we will have to actually reinitialize. We are actually creating a whole new iter method just for sake of doing it. So I will say def init, and then I will say self, and then I have three values, n and nums, right? Self dot current equals to n is the first value, and self dot nums equals to nums value, right? And but there's nothing else that I want to like here, so I will say def underscore next is another keyword that will actually go to the next iteration altogether, and then we will do something like this, and I will say if self dot current is less than, or we will say self dot nums is less than self dot current, right? Which it could be possible, so we will say raise, actually not raise, should be more than or equal to. If self dot nums is more than equals to self dot current, we will raise an exception error here, so we'll say stop iteration. We want to return up something, right? We want to return that value, so to underscore, I'll just create another variable to underscore return, and I will say self dot nums. So this will be value that it would give us, and then we will say self dot nums plus equals to 1, right? Makes sense. And then that's pretty much it. Then I will say return. I want to return something, so to underscore return will be returned over here. Now does that make sense to you? My underscore valuable data equals to, so I will use my data does have something, so it needs a num value, and it needs something, a different value, so I will say 0 and then 100. 100 is too much, but still we can do this, something like this. Now okay, so now I will say x equals to sum of my underscore finally my valuable data, and then this should do this, and I will just say this, so it says 0, it's not iterating to anything. Oops. It should iterate to this value, sub.num, and value. Oh, okay, so I'm correct seeing that this should be this, so I'm saying 100 and then 10, and then if I do it this again, okay, yeah, this works. So what I was doing here is actually it should be, we're first using n value is set to 0, so whenever 0 is iterated to anything, it won't work actually this way. This is a pretty much a range, and so this was not working. So we just, what we did, we set a value to just here, if I just do 100,000 and just let's wait for it, so this is the value that comes up. So I guess you guys have understood how we use a generator as an iterable object, right? This is the way actually we do. So in the next chapter we will see how to actually create another generator which will use something like yield method, and we will see how it works. So to understand this particular thing, like how the generator actually works, I would like you to do some practice, just see how this generator is working, and this is a basic generator, actually just using the iterable, acting as an iterable. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, please feel free to comment in down below. I will let you know I will answer all your questions. And if you did enjoy this video, feel free, do like, subscribe and share, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.